This project is to explore the beauty of mean-style chair design while reinterpreting various embedded qualities and produce a contemporary sitting range for design studio environment. So what can be called as a mean-style chair? Mean-style chairs refer to those not only made in Ming Dynasty in China, but also carry the cultural marks. My project is inspired by an opportunity and challenge that I found. For the history of my own, I am interested in the physical structure, cultural meaning, manufacturing techniques of the Ming-style chairs, and how can I extend the traditional elements from 500 years ago and bring them back in a contemporary context. Target users are those who work in the design studio and need to engage in activities such as laptop works, conversation, quick fabrication and drawing, etc. For this group of people, they often need to switch their sitting positions according to the activities for a comfortable posture. Ming Dynasty was established in 1368 and the national economy increased drastically, which resulted in the rise of cultural literature, art, and ideology. Furniture industry had also been greatly improved. During Ming Dynasty, chair design reached the peak of its revolution because of the nationwide popularity. Taking the official's head chair as an example, the components in a Ming-style chair is very different from Western chairs because of the use of extended armrest, the middle back splat, the stretchers, and the footrest, etc. The legs are tapering towards the top, which is opposite to the Scandinavian chair design. Behind the various structures, the meanings behind them were also interesting. Chinese people were used to sitting on the ground, and since the invention of a higher level chair, chairs has been embedded with different qualities such as hierarchy, power, wealth, and education. Good quality chairs were mostly used by government officials, gentry, and literati. Material of the chair was also a way to express the hierarchy because good quality chairs were mostly made of import hardwood from Southeast Asia. Due to the strength durability of the wood, the structure can be simplified, and so was the joint. Ancient Chinese craftsmen most favored the most simple but practical tenon joint. Variants of tenon joints were developed according to the joining structure. For instance, the half-lapped wedge joint was for the round back, and the blind tenon joint was for joining the stretcher and the legs. Due to the constraints of all the structures around the user, sitting positions were limited to an upright torso with hands on the armrest and feet on the footrest. One of the reasons for that was to keep the user awake during long-hour work. Another reason was that people in Ming Dynasty had a strong self-discipline. They believed a good body posture could reflect the spiritual characteristic. While in a contemporary design studio, there are a variety of sitting positions because of, firstly, the equality among people, and second, the requirement of the different level of seating. For normal level seating, it can satisfy the need of a ordinary laptop works. However, sometimes a higher level table is also needed in a studio for fabricating purpose, and to meet the demand of a natural sitting position, a higher stool is also needed. To demonstrate a switch from hierarchy to equality, material exploration was based on factors such as low environmental cost and low mileage. Also, it needs to be strong, resistant, and works well with machines. Tasmanian blackwood became the winner after the filtering. It also has a similar color and grain to the traditional woods that were used in Ming-style chairs. From the quality aspect, I want to break the original hierarchy and reinterpret the new values such as equality, intimacy, dependence, and gender neutral. In order to achieve that, the relationship between each component needs to be developed in another design perspective. I started off by utilizing quick and dirty sketching methods, and I repeat it before every iteration. It was a good method to lay down rough ideas in a short amount of time. Through the sketches, I can see what my thinking is about and branch out around that. 2D CAD drawings was useful when I needed to get a precise dimension on each component, and it is great for proportion study. I used the method during the first stage of my design process when I am changing the design from a straight back to a curved back. I found that this method is constrained by the 2D view and how to get a three-dimensional perspective. So I move on to a 3D modeling to better comprehend the structure from different views. My exploration from the normal level seating was mainly focused on the forming of the continuate back and armrest to provide enough support to the back and still allow flexible torso and leg movement. The higher level seating required a different consideration, especially in the lower portion. Due to the height, the footrest needs to be used to provide a neutral lower body position. The variation of the ties was to provide reinforcement for the legs. Armrest were removed and the backrest is really lowered. I started one-to-one scale drawing at the beginning of the development process, and it gave me a better understanding of the relationship between each component. During different stages, I would make a one-to-one paper mock-up according to the actual size. It helped me to test out the proportion and seating position. For my interpretation of the normal level seating, a half armrest works best in an environment that requires mobility of the body. Compared to the traditional design, the lower back is sufficient to support the lumbar and still allow the movement of the arms. Also, there is no footrest or stretchers to constrain the legs. There are two alternatives to meet the demands of a higher level seating, according to the height of the stool. One is at 600 mm, which provides a similar position as using a normal level chair, and table considering the studio high table is approximately 850 mm high, and the other is 700 mm, which is a higher position, better for fabricating and drawing. According to the manufacturing techniques, the process can be divided into three categories. For the seat, it can be glued together by 4 to 5 pieces of wood using biscuits. For the back and the middle splat, due to the curvature, they can be laminated using a positive and negative jig. The legs and side posts are round, so they can be turned. Thank you for watching.